Welcome back to the Terminal tutorial series. In this video, we're going to be using one of the most powerful features of the Defiant Terminal to create custom charts and tables with unique combinations of data. Now, in the previous videos, I created my own dashboards. I did that by copying or essentially forking the preset dashboards, and I then added my own charts and tables. I even manipulated how the data is visualized based on my own interests. But I also showed how the chat and news functions work in those videos, so if you haven't already done so, go and check them out now. So let's dive in and see firsthand the powerful visualization tools that are available with the Defiant Terminal, and really why this terminal is the only tool in all of DeFi with such advanced capabilities. Now I'm going to start by adding a table to my personalized dashboard, which I've called My First Dashboard, but you're currently looking at my DeFi lenders dashboard, which at the moment displays some pretty cool stuff like price and TVL charts, trading volumes, and even TVL change across some of the lenders that I'm following. So I'll go ahead and switch over to my dashboard, and I want to add a chart that displays the ETH price alongside a dataset like liquidations, because assuming I want to visualize the relationship between liquidations and the asset price, I'm essentially asking the terminal a question here. How did the price of ETH impact the number of liquidations in the past 12 months? Now for the answer, I have to create a chart. And my first metric is going to be the price. So I'll input that over here, select price, and I save that. Then I have to select the asset that I'm tracking, which is Ethereum. At this point, I can name my first selection ETH price, so I see exactly what I'm looking at once my chart is created. Then I'm going to add my second selection, which is going to be liquidation count. And the protocols that I'm looking are the lending protocols. Conveniently, they're all displayed here. Save. I have to, of course, select the Ethereum network. And I will give a title to my second selection, which is going to be liquidation count. Now, when I press create, it also asks me to give the chart a table. So this is going to be ETH price versus liquidation count. I'll create that now. As soon as I press create, you'll notice that this chart isn't exactly displaying data the way it should do. It's a bit messy, so I can very easily click on the title, and it's going to let me edit this. So I'm actually going to start by separating the data by metric. Once I do that, it's going to start to make a bit more sense. And then I'm also going to change the dates that are displayed to a 12-month period. Now, when I save this chart and I go back to my previous dashboard tab and I reload, I will resize it to fit to screen. Here's one I made earlier. And there we go. We've got this beautiful visualization of the relationship between liquidations and the price of Ethereum, all in a single chart that if I want, I can share with my friends or colleagues. So back into the unique data sets, and let's say I want to explore how the price action of the Maker token relates to TVL on MakerDAO. I'll click create a chart and table. It's also going to be a chart. Now the first metric that I'm going to add is going to be the price. So I'll select that, and the asset that we're tracking is Maker. Select that also, and I can enter the title of this data set, Maker price. I'll create that. Now my second selection, as I mentioned, is going to be total value locked on MakerDAO. All I have to do is type it in. Everything is displayed super conveniently for me. And of course, the network is going to be the Ethereum network. There we go. MakerDAO TVL. So now that both my data sets have been named and selected, I can name my chart as well. It's going to be Maker price versus DAO TVL. So we know exactly what we're looking at, and I'll create that. And there it is, automatically moved into the bottom left-hand corner. You'll notice that is a regular occurrence. Now, if I drag it out, we see that it's a line chart. Maybe I want to display this slightly differently. So once my chart is created, I can select a wider date range or even zoom out and see how the price of TVL and Maker have correlated over the past year, 3 months, or even a month or 12 months. So if I click on this and it opens in a new tab, it's going to let me change the date range. I can very simply click on the calendar button, press last 12 months, save these changes. Perfect. And if I reload the previous tab that I was working on, there we have it. a much more coherent data set, and it's going to give me some insights into the protocol's performance without having to switch back and forth between different platforms. So next, we're going to look into Uniswap, considering the protocol's V3 launch did make headlines recently, but this time, beyond a simple correlation between the price and the TVL, I actually want to investigate whether or not the new users of Uniswap are somehow impacting the number of trades being placed on the Uniswap DEX. So I'll click on Create a Chart and Table. We're creating a chart. Now, the first metric that we're going to select is the new DEX users. I can type that in, save it, and the protocol that I'm looking at is Uniswap. It's right there. I'll select the network, which of course is Ethereum, and I have to give a name to my first selection, which is going to be new uni users. I'll create that. My second collection is going to be the DEX trade count, and again on Uniswap. So I'll select the metrics, I'll type in trade, and it appears as DEX trade count. I'll save that. The protocol is once again Uniswap. The network is once again Ethereum. The title is New Trade Count on Uniswap. Create. I'll add a chart title, New DEX Users versus Trade Count. And let's create that. Scroll down to see where the data is. Move that out of the way. Zoom into a little bit so we can actually see what's going on. Now I'm also going to select the same date range for this. So I open it in a new tab. I'm going to click on the calendar button, the last 12 months, and I will save my changes. Okay, let's go back to the previous tab, refresh, and there we have it. A very clear representation of the correlation between the number of new users on the DEX and the total number of trades placed. Now let's say I've formed a hypothesis based on that previous chart that the number of new users influences the number of total trades on the Uniswap DEX, and I want to investigate. So I want to create a chart that displays the price in relation to the total number of trades on the DEX. Let's scroll up and create a new chart. The first metric is of course going to be price. Save that. The asset is uni. Save. Now let's put uni price as the dataset label. Now the second selection is going to be the DEX trade count. So I type in DEX and it comes up as DEX trade count, save. The protocol is once again Uniswap, save. We have to specify the network as usual, Ethereum. And now I can name my chart as uni price versus trade count. And let's create this. Scroll down to the bottom, see how the data is visualized. It could be a little bit neater, so that's what we're going to do. I'll expand it, click on the name of the chart. It opens in a new tab as always. And once again, we're going to select a 12-month range. And we're going to save these changes. We're going to go back to the previous tab, refresh, and see if we can notice any correlations. There we go. The changes have been saved, and you can see as soon as we change to a 12-month frame, we can notice some patterns. For instance, the trade count remained relatively stable until around August last year, despite the price of uni steadily increasing. Okay, so the next thing I want to do when building my personalized dashboard to have all the key data displayed in a single screen is visualizing flash loans, which essentially allow users to profit without necessarily risking their own money. And Aave is the market leader in flash loans, so I'm most interested in tracking Aave. Let's go ahead and create a new chart to do this. And I'm going to select the two metrics that are available around flash loans. The first one is flash loan count. I will select the protocol, Aave, save, and the network, Ethereum, and I'll save. Now the title for this dataset is going to be flash loan count on Aave. Now the second selection is of course going to be the other dataset available for flash loans, which is flash loan volume. I'll select the protocol as Aave. The network is Ethereum. And I'll name this second dataset flash loan volume Aave. The final thing we have to do is name the chart Aave flash loan versus loan count. And once we create the chart, we can of course resize it and move it around as we see fit. Now finally, let's say I want to investigate how the price of ETH as an asset relates to the number of users and trades being executed on Curve. I can create a custom chart with these 3 datasets and visualize it quite easily. So I scroll up and I press create a new chart. Now the first set of metrics I'm going to use is the DEX user count and the DEX trade count. So I select DEX user count, I will save, I'll add a protocol, which is Curve. The network, once again, is Ethereum. Data selection, Curve user count, create. My second selection is therefore going to be the trade count. Once again on Curve, and you guessed it, once again on Ethereum. Curve trade count, create. And the final selection, as I mentioned, is going to be the price of ETH, and we have done this before. So we're just repeating that step of adding price as a metric, Ethereum as the asset, and we'll name it ETH price, create. Now we have to give the chart a title, Curve user and trade count versus ETH price. Let's go ahead and create this and see if it gives us what we're looking for. There we go. Now once the data is available, just like the previous steps, I can click on the title, change it to a 12-month period, and check for correlations. So there we have it. The Defiant Terminal lets us create infinitely customizable datasets, combining on-chain data with off-chain metrics for the first time in DeFi. Now I want to zoom out here for a second. When we think about what dashboards can really accomplish and who really uses them, it's business executives, data analysts, traders, and even institutional investors who need to distill some sort of actionable insight from the vast amount of data that's out there. But to do so, business people have to use tools like Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, or they can spend countless days building rigid Excel dashboards, which could of course go horribly wrong at any step of the way, and it's a drag. So that's why the Defiant Terminal was designed in this infinitely customizable way, so you can pick your own datasets, prioritize your own investment system, and you can make informed decisions when opportunities arise, because you've essentially kept your finger on the pulse, and you have a solid understanding of the landscape that you're operating in. Now the cherry on top is that you've done all of that with a mouse in 5 minutes. No coding, no cleaning of data, no importing of datasets, and most importantly, no labeling of datasets. It's already done for you. Simply by reorganizing the data, you have an overview of all of the DeFi knowledge you could possibly need. And there will be plenty more functions added in the coming weeks and months, so go ahead and create a dashboard which displays the data you're most interested in, share it with your friends and colleagues, and see if they would display the data the same way, or perhaps differently. And be sure to let me know if there's any particular combinations of data you'd want me to create, but you're struggling with, so I can make a video covering that for you.